Seltzer Kings.
Podcasts.
Every day, thousands of Comcast engineers and technologists, like Kunle, put people at the heart of everything they create.
In the average household, there are dozens of connected devices. Here in the Comcast family, we're building an integrated in-home Wi-Fi solution for millions of families like my own. It brings people together in meaningful ways.
Kunle and his team are building a Wi-Fi experience that connects 1 billion devices every year. Learn more about how Comcast is redefining the future of connectivity at comcastcorporation.com/Wi-Fi.
Hey, Dad. What are you doing up?
Couldn't sleep. What with the phone ringing every 5 minutes? Access Hollywood, Entertainment Tonight, E! Any guesses what they wanted to talk about? My charity work? No. My latest Christmas movie? No. They wanted to talk about my son's latest opus, Skid Row Boxing. I have to say that your performance was really impressive. The way you played the ungrateful son, determined to humiliate his father, was utterly impressive. Do you have any idea what you've just cost this family? Of course you don't. You never had to work for anything in your life. Now, tomorrow, after school, you're going to get your first lesson in public relations. But Logan, don't you ever embarrass me again.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Veronica Mars. We're just two boys watching every episode of Veronica Mars for the first time, giving our review, our reactions. We are your hosts. I am Joe Welke.
I'm Vance.
Oh, he had a little moment. He was like, is this a last name episode or not? Nope. Today we're talking about Season 1, Episode 6, titled Return of the Kane, directed by Sarah P. Anderson, story by Rob Thomas, teleplay by Phil Klemmer. Original air date November 2nd, 2004, to an audience of 2.86 million people. And before we get into the episode, everybody, we got a shout out. A shout out. A shout out for an Apple Podcasts 5-star rating and review from Shells From Below. Whew. They started watching Veronica Mars so they could listen to the podcast. They were all in on Buffy. They finished the Firefly series that we did, and now they're watching Veronica Mars just to hang out with the boys. So, Shells From Below, thank you so much for your Apple Podcasts 5-star rating and review. If you want to get a shout out, Apple Podcast 5-star rating and review, Spotify 5-star rating, take a screenshot of it, send it in to us, or get us something off of our little Amazon wish list. And join our Discord. We have a lot of fun stuff going on there, including a little update from last week, which I want to send it over. We're going to send it on over to Vance to take over.
Oh, thanks, Joe. Yeah, we finally got the results from our Discord movie poll for the movie that we will be reviewing next month, the month of March, on Patreon.
Oh, actually, this month.
This month, yes, this month.
Time
oh,
is
God, it is this
flying.
month. We're even recording it in this month. Oh, all right. Yeah, so this month's movie has been selected by a Discord poll. The movies that we were choosing between were When in Rome, Jennifer's Body, Wrong Turn, and The Matrix, of course, the movie that Joe has not seen. Mm-hmm. The movie that everyone likes and no one seen.
What if I had seen like Wrong Turn and not The Matrix?
Have you seen any of these movies?
I think actually when we were done recording last week, I was talking with you. Like, I always get Jennifer's body and teeth mixed up.
Which I don't understand.
Yeah, I think I've seen half of each of them. So I don't know.
Teeth is so specific that you could
I know
not-
it's very
not-
specific. I don't know which one has Adam Brody in it. I think I've seen that one.
I think Teeth has Adam Brody in it.
Okay. I think I've seen parts of Jennifer's body, though, too. I don't know.
Well, you don't have to worry about that because the movie selected was Jennifer's Body.
Yeah,
So we'll get to
that's
the
our
bottom
movie
of
for
this.
March. That's our movie for March on our Patreon, which you can check out at patreon.com/boyswatchingbuffy, where we're doing Boys Watching Dollhouse as well. And Dollhouse has gotten very interesting as of this week.
Yeah. If you enjoyed Severance, you might enjoy this episode of... you might enjoy this episode of Dollhouse. It's very... Severance and Dollhouse have some real similarities.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've been a little bit clowning on Dollhouse. Not gonna lie,
It is what it is.
it is what it is for certain. But this episode really fucking kicked shit up a notch.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff is unfolding, and I'm like, oh my god, this is all crazy.
Episode 6 in the Whedon world, in the Whedonverse, are usually like big game-changing episodes.
Yeah. So we have that on our Patreon and the backlog of Angel. And then there's the Boys Watching Movies tier, which we were talking about. We're going to be doing Jennifer's Body for March. And then the backlog of all of the movies, all of Angel, all of Dollhouse, if you're in that tier. And of course, if you really want to go back, there's some Joe's Fashion Report / Corner videos on there still.
Yeah, from Buffy. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is that. The streak continues, Vance. Slept horribly last night. I scrounged through my fridge and I found a C4 creamsicle, one of the big ones.
Oh boy, I thought you were going to go with the watermelon today, but I'm going with just the Monster Energy Ultra Vice Guava that I have.
You still have a guava?
I have a couple guavas.
Damn, I drank all them. Those are gone. But yeah, I'm tired. I'm sleep deprived. And on top of that, I'm not feeling that good. So apologies if I'm a little less energetic than usual, everybody, or if my voice sounds a little different. Sore throat, feeling a little sore. Just been really dragging ass the last couple days.
Yep, I didn't sleep well, but guess what? I'm a trooper. I'm going through it. I'm gonna show up, bringing the energy, and I got a lot of thoughts on this episode. Lots of thoughts.
Does melatonin do fucking anything? I've been trying to take it because I've been sleeping so bad, and it does fucking nothing for me. Maybe I need to take double the dose or something because I'm bigger than normal people. But I don't get it.
You're not that bigger than normal people.
I am so much bigger than dude. If I lived in Jesus times, I would be a legend.
Yes, I'm so much bigger than everyone else.
Dude, I'm 6'4". That's
you don't-
so much bigger than average.
You probably weigh less than people that are 6 foot.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how,
average-
how that works. It's not height. It's not like it has to travel. It's like, it's not traveling the full distance because I'm so tall.
Oh, we're doing cubic cent,
that's how
square
that's
footage.
how it works. That's how medicine works.
Dude, I am 6'4", 195.
Okay.
I think I'm heavier than the average man.
Okay.
In America, how much does the average man weigh in America?
Oh
We're
my
looking
God.
it up.
I was just so excited to start talking about Veronica Mars.
Hold on. How much does the average man in America weigh? Oh, the average weight of an American. This is according to AI, so I don't know.
No, I don't even want to hear this.
Average weight of an American man 20 years old and older is 199.8 pounds. So I'm a little bit less than the average man. Depending on the day. I weigh myself in the morning when I'm dehydrated.
You weigh less
and
than
weigh
an
less.
average person, and you were just like, maybe because I'm so big.
But I'm way taller than
It doesn't
the
matter.
average man.
That makes it worse. You should be weighing way much more if you're taller. If you're going to be, I'm bigger.
Vance, if I lived back in the day in the 1800s, people would tell tall tales about me. I would be a folklore legend.
Yeah,
They'd be like, oh, there goes Big Joe.
I'm sure Goliath would be like, oh man, I can't face off against that Joe.
I probably would be Goliath. Get my shit wrecked, but that little pipsqueak.
Already off the rails with your nonsense, Joe.
Because you fucking called me out for not being big, and I'm big.
You just looked it up and found out that you're not. You're still arguing that you're big and just proving that you're not.
I'm big. Average height of a American male is, I think, like 5'9".
That has nothing to do with the effectiveness of melatonin.
It absolutely does.
You being tall does not affect your melatonin.
Being tall affects so much stuff. Tall people die earlier.
At least we have that to look forward to. All right, now to the...
Wow!
Now
we get a recap of Lilly Kane being killed. We get Duncan Kane used to be my boyfriend. Somebody's keeping track of that on Discord. There's another one for you. And then Veronica is not an outsider. She likes to pretend like she's an outsider, but she's not. So then we fucking... we go to... this episode opens.
What a terrible transition into starting this podcast. What is this?
The episode opens.
I'm just wondering how many people have already clicked off of this thing.
Oh God.
I'm sorry, Shells from below, for if you recommended this podcast to someone and then you're like, trust me, you'll like it. And then this is the episode they started with.
It's just me and Vance screaming about whether I'm big or not. Logan Echolls, he's hanging out in his yard, his little driveway, and there's like one of those tours, like Hollywood tours that you can do out here in LA. And the van stops off and they're like, oh, this is Aaron Echolls' house, because Logan's dad is a famous actor. And all the people get out and Logan's like, yeah, get off my lawn, you fucking you fucking ruffians. And then Aaron, Logan's dad, shows up and he's like, Logan, what are you doing? Why are you yelling at these people? These people are my fans. Like, I wouldn't have any of this without these people. And Aaron goes, he starts like doing autographs and taking selfies with people. And he calls Logan over. He's like, hey, man, you got to fucking be better about this. Like, these people really like me and this is how we do all this shit. I was like, oh, okay, Aaron.
And his parents are played by Harry Hamlin and Lisa Renna, who are actors and on a reality show and actually married in real life.
Oh, shit. I did not know that. Aaron Echolls, he's got real fucking Keith Urban vibes. He's got the middle part mullet thing going on.
Yeah. I mean, I just know the Harry Hamlin act. Like, I know that actor. I've seen him in stuff. I've seen him in things.
He's got a great presence.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, I'm like, I would buy that guy as a movie star in this TV show. And I'd buy him as a movie star in real life.
Yeah. I don't know a lot of what he's been in, but I just recognize him. I think he's been more TV than anything else, but yeah.
Yeah. So then we have Duncan at school with his dad, Jake Kane.
The least busiest billionaire ever.
I know.
Like, hanging out at that high school way too much.
He's in his like Tommy Bahama suit. Like, it's not even just the Hawaiian shirt. Yeah. He's got like a big old seersucker suit or some shit. And he's just chilling with Duncan at school.
Yeah.
And Jake Kane is seeing like that student council elections are coming up. And he's trying to like tell Duncan like, hey man, maybe you should like look into that. Like, that'd be cool if like you like ran for president. You'd probably win. It'd look good on like your resume for like getting into a good college. Like, maybe that's something that you should do. And Duncan's just standing there drooling. He's like, no, you know,
Duncan's got a little more life in him this episode.
He does, especially in these like one-on-one scenes with Jake. Like it seems like they've got a pretty decently good relationship.
Yeah, he's not acting like he's on the antidepressants, but I don't know why he's acting different here.
He's still a little, to me in this scene, he's still a little Robo Duncan, but later on he starts to liven up, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
But Duncan's like, I'm not really interested in this student council thing, Dad. And he's like, come on, dude. Like, you got to do something. Like, what? Maybe just give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
So then Veronica's talking to Wallace at the lunch table about how her dad wants to take her to the zoo. And she's been doing a lot of like quality time days with her dad. And Wallace is like, oh, that's funny that you're complaining about that because my dad's dead. So maybe you should cherish that time together. And Veronica's like, fine. Pulling out the dead dad card again, aren't you, Wallace?
What a nice, subtle way to explain that Wallace's dad is dead. What a nice, subtle way for him just to say that. Because that starts out to be almost what the whole scene was about until this next step that happens.
Yeah. So Veronica's like, maybe I should take a little bit more appreciation for the time that I get with my dad. And Veronica should feel the same way because her mom is missing.
She's a teenage girl in high school and she works with her dad. How much more time do you need to spend with him?
Fair enough. So then some girls, just like random girls that we've never seen before, whistle over a delivery guy. And these girls had gotten like food delivered to the school. And they're like, all right, cool. This is going to be our lunch. A cheerleader comes over and she's like, hey, you can't do that. You can't order delivery. That's against the rules. You don't have any pirate points. And the girl who delivered the food or who got the delivery, her name is Wanda. She's like, what the fuck? Who gives a shit about pirate points? And then the cheerleader's like, I'm going to tell on you. So she goes over to Ms. Dent. I finally got her name. Sidney Poitier's daughter. Ms. Dent gets the cheerleader goes over to Miss Dent and she's like, hey, that girl, she just ordered delivery. And Miss Dent is like, yeah, so? And the cheerleader's like, she doesn't have any pirate points. You can't do that. You get them from the student council for like doing sports or, you know, being in student council. And then the Miss Dent is like, and you really consider cheerleading a sport? And I was like, ooh, shots fired. But then the cheerleader's like, oh, you must be new here because you don't understand the ecosystem and the bureaucracy of this high school. So I'm going to go over to the principal.
Vice principal.
And vice principal, yes.
Unless they changed it.
But she goes over to him and she's like, hey, Wanda over there ordered food for delivery and she doesn't have any pirate points. And the vice principal's like, fuck no, can't stand for that.
He has a look on his face like, I can't fucking believe this happened.
Yeah. So he goes over and he's yelling at Wanda. He's like, hey, you don't have any pirate points. You can't do this. And then she gets her food confiscated. And the cheerleader's got a little shit-eating grin on her face. And Wanda's like, oh, I know that you tattled on me. Wanda goes over to the cheerleader table and just stomps on their pizza, which I was like, fucking awesome.
They have like 2 large pizzas just on the table.
Yeah. And she's just like stomping on them in her Doc Martens.
Yeah.
And then the vice principal sees that and he's like, oh, what? Wanda, come to my office. I'm on. And then Wallace sees all this happening and he's like, who the hell is that lady? And Veronica's like, oh, you don't know Wanda? Wanda and I used to be in Pep Squad together. We were really close and we did all these like crafts and stuff. And then we got kicked out and everything took a turn for the worse. And Wallace is like, y'all were in Pep Squad? You don't seem very peppy.
Yeah. My note just says lame Pep Squad, less peppy joke.
Yeah.
I have a rant to go on about the pirate points and how they work, but I can save it for later because it keeps getting brought up. So let me know if you want it now or later.
That's a tease. You got to keep listening for the pirate point rant. So then we go back to Veronica's home. Keith comes home. Veronica's making ice cream sundaes for dinner. And Veronica asks about Keith's day. And Keith's like, nah, see, he's literally doing this voice. He's like, the baddies, I tried to squeeze them for some intel, but blah, blah, blah. And then Veronica does the same voice. And it's like, it's a pretty cute father-daughter moment.
He's such a cartoon character.
Yeah. But then a news report about the Lilly Kane murder case comes on. And the guy who was found to be the murderer fires his attorney. He's due to get the death penalty within the next year. And he's trying to get what's the word for it? He's trying to appeal the case again.
He's not appealing the case.
Oh, you're right. He's not appealing the case. And then Keith shuts the TV off because he doesn't want to hear it. And Veronica asks Keith, why would he do that? Why would he fire his attorney and not appeal it? Keith's like, I don't care. I don't want anything to do with this anymore. And Veronica's like, I think you do. I think you should still want to investigate it. And Keith is like, nobody wants to hear from me. Nobody likes me. Nobody wants to hear from the disgraced sheriff anymore. They can find some other conspiracy nut to attach themselves to.
Why does he have the conspiracy logo for his private detective service? And why would anyone come to him for private investigation if they think he's a bungling idiot? It's so strange.
Yeah. We've brought that up a couple times. Yeah.
It'll be like in every 5 or 6 episodes, we just bring that up because it's just there.
I mean, his last name is Mars. Why would he go with the conspiracy theory pyramid thing as the logo instead of
space
planet?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man.
Yeah. And what we forgot to do, because Joe was talking about how big he was, is predictions.
Yeah, predictions, yeah. I'm a large human, everybody.
Yeah, not according to Google. And you predicted...
Discord, we're going to make a new poll. Is Joe big?
Mass.
Here are the stats. 6'4", 195 pounds first thing in the morning.
Joe,
no breakfast,
they have stores,
right after pee.
They had the stores called Big and Tall. Big and Tall. It's 2 separate things.
I used to... No, it's not.
Big and Tall.
Have you gone to a Big and Tall store, Vance?
No.
Exactly, because you're not big and or tall. I've been. You
said and or tall. And or. It's not looped together all the time.
Yes, they are. You've never been. You don't know.
All right. So Joe's prediction is Duncan returns and asks Veronica out as a cliffhanger to the episode.
That did not happen.
I don't even think you should get Duncan returns as much.
No. This is nothing. That was a bad prediction.
Mine is new clues reopen the Lilly Kane case. Guy arrested, not the killer.
You pretty much fucking nailed that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
You got that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm big.
We'll let Discord enjoy the week of debating that.
All right. Here we go. So then Veronica goes to sleep. She has a dream of Lilly, and Lilly still wants Veronica to investigate her murder case still. That's basically the gist of it.
Yeah.
And then she doles out some fashion advice.
Yep.
Bitch, that's my thing.
I don't feel like you dished out any fashion or Joe's fashion corner in a long time.
Yeah.
I don't think you...
People were saying there's a lot of opportunity to do it in Veronica Mars, and there is.
I know. You have taken none of them. And these
taking
episodes...
the high road.
These episodes have been long, and there's no fashion corner. Taking the high road? No way.
Yeah.
You're not taking the high road.
I've been taking the high road.
Why? Why with this show did you decide to not criticize the outfits?
I feel like maybe because I was a teenager at this point, and I remember wearing in 2004, I was 14, and I remember wearing shit like this.
You don't
Like,
so you're giving a
maybe
pass?
Buffy was still
Yeah, what are you
happening
talking
in
about? Yeah.
2001,
And girls, you were alive then
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So, I mean, what are you talking about? I don't know why you're
I
giving a
don't know,
pass
man.
here.
I'm just fucking lazy
You're getting,
with Veronica
you're getting
Mars.
old and soft, Joe. That's what I'm going to
I
say.
know. I am. Anyway, so Veronica's in journalism class. Oh, did you have anything to say about the dream about Lilly?
No, I don't like the colors of the dreams. It's that nasty green. And then they cut
I
to
couldn't
that.
tell if it was like a flashback or a dream.
It's a
And then
dream.
Veronica wakes up.
You thought it was a flashback of her talking about being.
Well, at
Yeah.
first I thought
Yeah.
it was because it's just like Lilly in
Yeah.
Veronica's closet starring Kirstie Alley and talking about fashion stuff. And then Lily's like, hello, I was killed. I'm dead, remember?
This is like a ghost dream though, because they're getting actual information when they hallucinate her. Like Duncan's like,
yeah.
she's like, hey, dummy, it doesn't add up. Like it's too much information that she's giving to people.
Yeah. But anyway, so Veronica's a journalism class. The Ms. Dent asks her to cover the student election. Wanda decides that she's going to run for student council president, and she runs an ad on the high school TV that's like, hey, I'm Wanda. I'm running for student council president. I think pirate points suck, and I'm going to do away with them. That's my platform. Goodbye. Vote for me. And everyone, like the whole school erupts, like, yeah, Veronica, or Wanda. And then Logan is in the corner with Duncan, and Logan's talking to Duncan, and he's like, can she even do that? We can't get rid of our pirate. We can't do that. Logan, or Duncan, you need to run for president to make sure that our pirate points are protected. And Duncan's like, I have zero fucking interest in doing that.
Yeah. Now might be the time for the pirate points.
Yeah, let's do it. Wanda's running on a very Bernie Sanders-esque platform here.
The pirate points seem to be, if you're playing a varsity sport, you get to have food delivered.
Yeah.
If you have enough points. It's no way that later they talk about all the rich kids have the points.
Yeah.
But it's no way the varsity sports teams don't have a mixture of both, or the cheerleading.
Yeah.
It's not like all these other groups don't have a mixture of people in it. Also, only the rich kids will be able to afford to be having food delivered to the school. So it's not like all of a sudden pirate points don't matter. You can't order food. Like now it's like, oh, now Veronica can order pizzas every day for lunch. It's like, no, she can't. Wallace isn't doing that. It's a luxury within itself.
It would make more sense if it was just the student council that got the pirate points, because that's a popularity contest and the rich kids would be but like sports is like a meritocracy. Like you can't click like out an incredibly gifted athlete. Like if some poor kid is the star,
but he's
it's
not going
like
to order
Logan and Duncan.
Lunch. Yeah, he's not going to be like ordering Chinese food at lunch to be delivered.
Yeah, it's like, and they can't use those pirate points to pay for the food or anything either.
Who checks the pirate points?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to be ordering lunch, and so let me go to the vice principal and talk to them and say, hey, can I make a phone call? Well, sorry, you only have 12 pirate points. You need 15.
Yeah. What is
that?
Yeah, they don't really explain pirate points very well.
We had
like, do you get an allotment per month and you can only use like once a week your points? And like,
why is Logan like, I can't lose these pirate points? It's like, what do you mean? Like, it doesn't, you can't, if everyone can get pirate points, does that mean just everyone can order lunch? Like, what is?
Yeah. Like, I don't know how that would hurt Logan if Wanda's ordering lunch, you know?
Right.
I guess it's like a power
It's just,
thing.
it's just, oh, we want to set ourselves apart. The pirate points make no sense, though, the way they're distributed and what they allow people to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to read the handbook on pirate points.
I want to dive deep into the pirate points.
Yeah. So then we have people just campaigning for Wanda. Like everybody's this grassroots campaign. Everyone's making posters for her. Veronica Mars is interviewing Wanda, and Wanda basically gives her statement that she's like, I'm starting class warfare. The rich kids run things and they get away with murder and it's bullshit. And I basically want to start a revolution. And Veronica's like smiling. She's like about to cry. She seems so inspired by this message.
Yeah, she's like, the rich kids take over and we're disenfranchised. And I was like, yeah, she's making some good points. Make some great points.
Absolutely, she is.
Now, in the pilot, did Veronica mention that the school was mostly rich kids?
She said it's the rich kids and the people who work for the rich kids.
Okay. So it's less rich kids. So wouldn't that be like most places?
Yep.
So people. That's
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. When you break it down, you're like, okay, so it's the rich people and the people that work.
That's just America.
Yeah, that's just society.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Wanda's inspiring the masses. Like,
mm-hmm.
This is, the 1%
mm-hmm.
versus the 99%.
Yes. Very prescient.
Yep. So then we go to Logan driving to a gas station. And I only mention this because I love this band so much. The song that he's playing in his car is by a band called The Stills from an album called Logic Will Break Your Heart. Everybody check out that album. It's so fucking good. Very kind of like indie rock, unheard of band. And I love that album. The song that's playing is called, I think, Still in Love Song or something. But he pulls up in his yellow Nissan Xterra and he's getting gas. All of his homeboys get out of the car and they're like, hey, we're going to go get some Powerades. You want something? Ryan Hansen's in it,
mm-hmm.
as we said before, which is going to be relevant for later. That Ryan Hansen kind of stars in this show based on somebody else that shows up in a bit.
Okay.
A lot of fun crossover. But then some guy comes over to clean Logan's windshield. And Logan's like, oh, I don't want, you don't have to do that. I'm not going to pay you. And the guy's like, I'm not asking for payment. I'm just going to do a little squeegee clean for your windshield. And Logan's like, no, for real. Like, I just got it professionally detailed. Like, you don't need to do this. And then the guy's like, well, I'm doing it anyway. And then Logan starts sizing this guy up. And he's looking at him and he's like, say, man, how much do you weigh?
Are you as big as Joe Welke?
Yeah. The guy's like, I'm like 240. And I was like, oh, man, that's a big dude. It's a big man. According to Vance.
That is a big man.
I am big.
Over 200, I'll give you that. Over 200, I'll give him a big man. That guy's a big man. You're not bigger than that guy.
So if that guy is 5'9", 240, I'm 6'4", 195.
If he's 240,
you would say
if he's 6'1", 240, I would say he's big.
Okay, I can accept that.
Yeah, I'm not saying like little people that small.
But I'm saying the average man is 5'9", 5'10".
Joe, we're talking
pounds.
about your thing based on if you need to take more drugs because you're so big. You would not. It's based off of mass and weight. That is the key.
I'm going to try taking double the dose of melatonin and I might die.
Yeah,
this might be the end of the podcast. Joe OD'd on melatonin gummies he got from Marshall's.
Nothing like the guy who doesn't drink or do drugs ODing on the podcast. Yeah.
But he's like, what do you weigh, like 240? And the guy's like, yeah, round about there. And Logan's like, well, I'm setting up like an amateur boxing night. I'm curious if you'd be interested. He puts like $100 bill on his little window. And the guy looks at it. He's like, no, I'm not fucking interested in that. Like, that sounds awful. You sound like a real piece of shit. And Logan's like, think about it, man. Think about it. You'd be really good at it. I bet you'd win. And the guy's like, no, I'm not interested. And then Logan takes his money out of the window and he's like, you're lost, big guy. And he just kind of starts chuckling and laughing in his face. And then he drives off.
Logan is running bum fights, basically.
Yes, he is.
Insane that was a major thing, too. It's such
that
of
was
its time.
Viral internet content.
Mm-hmm.
Bum fights. Like even on the Wikipedia for this, it says Logan is organizing bum fights like street fights.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a blue link to bum fights.
Yeah. Wow.
God. The world is so fucking crazy.
Remember how we said they were softening up Logan a bit?
Mm-hmm.
And then this happens. And then we had the earlier part. It was that voiceover from Veronica saying, oh, every school has their psychopath bully.
Yeah. We see footage of Logan smashing up Veronica's car. And I was like, oh, yeah, he did do that.
Yeah, not that long ago either.
Yeah. But yeah, they were trying to do some image rehabilitation on him. And
they try to do something again later in this episode that I took real offense to also.
Oh, we'll talk.
Yeah, we
about
will.
Something that happens later on in this episode.
We have to set aside another hour for that.
Yeah. Just on the cinematography alone. Anyway. So then we go back to journalism class and, it's the student school announcements. And then Duncan has a presidential campaign that plays. And Duncan looks up. He's like, wait, what? And it's like this like American flag explosions and stuff. It's like Duncan Kane for president. He's a varsity athlete. He's handsome. He's Mr. Steal Your Girl. He knows all. He's into the National Honor Society. And he's running for president. And then they get a testimonial from Logan's dad, Aaron Echolls. He's like, hi, I'm Aaron Echolls, and I'm here to tell you Duncan should be your student council president. And then we're not doing quote unquote. We're not doing it for Veronica Mars, but if we were, Logan at the end of the commercial goes, that's my dad.
You love Logan's. That's my girlfriend. That's my dad.
Dude,
that's his vibe.
It's so funny because Duncan is pissed at this commercial. Logan obviously made it and he's acting surprised like he didn't get his dad to do this testimony.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know where this came from. Oh, Dad.
Whoa, that's my dad.
Would his dad actually do that?
Huh?
Would his dad actually sit down for that?
No.
Yeah. I
mean, maybe. I don't know. His dad's all over the place.
Yeah, right.
His dad's all over the place, man. But Duncan's annoyed. He's like rolling his eyes. And then the teacher, Miss Dent, is like, all right, here's how we're going to vote. Write A for Duncan and write B for Wanda, C for blah, blah, blah. I don't know the exact order because it is important later on in the episode.
It is crazy because the cheerleader comes in and she looks at Duncan and she's like, good luck, Duncan. And Veronica shoots daggers at this cheerleader.
Yeah. She kind of gives Duncan a little wink or something. Yeah. She's like, good luck, Duncan. And then Duncan stands up after all the ballots are passed out. And he goes, guys, don't vote for me. I don't want to do this. And Logan goes, he's so humble.
Duncan standing up and saying that is very key for something that happens later, too.
Mm-hmm.
But it was insane that they were voting right after this aired. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's how it's happening?
Yeah. So then we go to Veronica, complete switch up in storylines. Veronica's at the Mars Investigations Office, and she's researching the Lilly Kane murder case again, and she's got folders on all the potential suspects. She's got Aaron Kuntz, who's the guy who actually is in jail currently for it, Jake Kane, Celeste Kane, and then she creates a new folder for Duncan Kane. Maybe he did it. But then she's like, but it is curious. I don't know what's going on here because Lilly was still alive at the reported time of death because I saw that traffic ticket from a couple episodes ago that nobody forgot about, right? I still haven't told my dad about it. I haven't told anyone about it.
Yeah.
So then she's like, I gotta go look in my dad's safe again for some more clues. She starts rummaging through the files and she's like, okay, is this where she finds the crime scene photo?
No, we cut to Logan running bum fights and then we go back to Veronica and then she finds some new evidence.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because she's like, wait, what is this? This is new. I was like, did he just get this or something?
Yeah, and then Keith is like coming back while she's doing it. She has to like scramble, like put all the stuff away. She gets away with it. But I want to go back to the scene of Logan organizing the bum fights because he's like announcing everybody and his voice keeps cracking so much.
Yeah, I don't think I paid much attention during the bum fights. I was like, this is crazy that they're doing it.
Yeah, and
they have like the fire. They got the fire going.
It's a night out at the bum fights. Like he has like a little campfire going. People are, roasting marshmallows and stuff. And then nobody's roasting marshmallows, but there's just bum fights happening. He's like, hey, give it up for Robbie.
But yeah, we go from this and then Veronica, she finds a photo of the shoes that Kuntz had that framed him for the murder. Like they found them on his boat or whatever. And it's these shoes that like specific, and we see a shot when they're looking at the news report of the sheriff holding him up with like a shit-eating grin.
Dude, he looks like such a little...
You can't have that smile on your face when you're finding the evidence of a teenage girl's murder. You have to be more professional. He's like, got him. It's not like a shipment of drugs that you found and you're just like, cool, we found these off the coast of Miami. This is like the murder, murder evidence.
This is the murder that rocked this entire city.
Yeah.
And he looks so overjoyed to be holding those gigantic Ziploc bags.
Yeah. Man.
But yeah, so Keith returns. Veronica's got everything away, and she's like, whew, he didn't find out that I was rummaging through his safe.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. During tax season, your personal info travels to a lot of places. Between payroll, your tax consultant, and the IRS. If your W-2 gets exposed, that's just the ticket for identity thieves. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
So then it's school, and Veronica's talking to Wallace about how Wanda actually might win this presidency. Like, everyone's really, like, rallying around her. Like, I think that she might actually win. And then an announcement comes on over the intercom, and it reveals that Duncan Kane has won the presidency. And the entire school, except for Logan, boos. And Veronica's like, how the fuck could he have won? Nobody wants him to win, including himself. Like, something's fishy about this. I don't think that this isn't legit. I need to investigate how this happened.
Mm-hmm.
So Veronica goes to the overseer of the student council, Jane Lynch.
Yes.
Another party down person like Ryan Hansen.
Yeah. Also Glee, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Best in Show. So many things. But
she's excellent.
Yeah.
She's been the same age for 40 years.
Yes. She has lived in that, like, when you become a star and you're kind of older. Yeah, she's looked the same in Best in Show. Like, she's just looked like this the whole time, which is great when you can just coast that, like, through line.
Yeah. And she's hilarious.
I don't know her character. I think she's a gym teacher or something in Glee. I never really watched Glee.
Yeah, I never watched Glee. I'm pretty certain that she is the gym teacher.
But she does a good job of playing like a character that we're going to see a guest star in Dollhouse. Good at being comedic and being like a bad guy.
Yeah, a little like sadistic comedic.
I don't understand her character. And like, is she sleeping with one of the students?
Say, she's trying to fuck Duncan.
She has way too much investment in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miss Donaldson is her character.
I literally never got her character's name because I was just like, that's fucking Jane Lynch. It was a nice surprise.
You know what's so funny? I was like, I don't know what Joe is going to know Jane Lynch from. And I forgot that she was in Party Down. But other than that, she's great. Other than that, do you know her from anything?
I mean, 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah.
I feel like she was in like a bunch of those movies where then she started to become a caricature of herself.
Yeah.
But Party Down, she was Jane Lynch still, but it was a very different take and turn on the character because she was like a very spiritual, like kind of crystal woo-woo person versus like in Glee, I think she's like a hard ass.
Yeah.
And then she's like overly sexual in 40-Year-Old Virgin. But it's still her the whole time.
Nah, she's in an episode of Frasier where she's a really uptight person trying to get their kid into a school or something. Very waspy.
I could see her doing that too.
Yeah. She's a great character actor.
Yeah, it's funny because like she's versatile in the limited range that she had. Like she can I don't know.
I think she has more range than you're giving her credit for.
She might, but I feel like every time she's reading the lines the same, but it's just like a different take on it. I don't know how to actually verbalize this.
That's the nuance because she's going to be herself because she's a person and she has.
Like she doesn't disappear into a role.
Well, she can't because she's so tall and looks unique and has a specific sounding voice. She's not like an everyman. She's not like the Duncan and Troys and Logans where you can't tell them apart sometimes at a glance.
Yeah, she's very distinct.
Yeah.
Great voice. But Veronica goes to her to talk about like, hey, how the fuck did Duncan win? And she's like, I don't know what to tell you. He won. And in order to do it, in order to do like a recount, you have to do all of these bureaucratic hoop jumping. And I don't think that you really are down to do that. And you have to submit a formal request to investigate the student election. And you need to have it certified by another teacher. So good luck with that. I don't think you're going to get it.
Why is she so adamant about this election being...
Dude, and it's like... It's like...
It doesn't affect her at all.
I know. I don't get it.
And I'm like, you're probably not one of the rich people.
Well, I was like, does she hate Veronica? Did Veronica do something to her? Did like Veronica put her husband away or something?
I mean, I'm sure the people in the town pick sides.
Yeah, that's true. She probably doesn't like Keith and then through association doesn't like Veronica.
And she probably doesn't like Wanda either, if you actually think about it that way
true.
Too. But
yeah,
the way
she was like, I was going to get a slice of that pizza that you stopped.
You know when you order pizzas for lunch and then you open both of them and then no one takes a slice from them and they also look like they weren't sliced at all?
Dude, that's the craziest part about it. I'm glad that you mentioned that.
They were just made to be stepped on. They were not slices.
But yeah, I don't get her investment in this. I don't like, is she fucking
yeah,
like
maybe
Logan
she did,
or... Yeah,
I guess she just hates Veronica and loves the process and doesn't want to have a revote. I don't know.
But Veronica hears this and she's like, oh, so I need a member of the faculty to sign off on this. All right. So she goes to Miss Dent and she explains the situation. And Miss Dent is like, yeah, sure, I'll sign it. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And then Jane Lynch sees this and she's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because Veronica's like, hey, I need a signature. Miss Dent's doing it. And Jane Lynch pulls Miss Dent aside. She's like, do you realize what's happening to you right now? You're being manipulated. She's using you.
It's like, geez, Jane Lynch,
like,
chill.
I didn't know that this
the student council thing is.
I didn't know that this ran this deep, but apparently it does.
Can Duncan not just drop
like,
out?
Right? Can't he?
They can't force you to be.
Well, then, like, Jane Lynch gives her, like, a vague threat, and she's like, let it go. It's for your own good.
Oh,
you know what? Dent is like, huh?
You know what got me? Is that Duncan doesn't want to run, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then the ad for him plays, and then they vote right after that. How did he even get on the ballot?
Yeah, I feel like Logan had to like forge some documents
like,
for him.
How did the school even know that he was running before that ad? Where they're like, well, if you want to vote for Duncan, it's B. It's like, whoa, like, how did your school even know?
Literally stood up and was like, I don't want this. Don't vote for me.
The first time the school found out he was running was during that video in that class. How did they?
Yeah.
But
Ms. Dent is not going to play along with Jane Lynch's manipulation. She's like, I still sign it, and I want a recount. So Veronica starts tallying the votes, and turns out Duncan actually won. And she's like, something's still fishy here. This is not right. And Jane Lynch comes in. She's gloating. She's like, oh, would you look at that? Huge waste of time. And then Veronica finds a weird ballot from some kid in an art class. And his name is Kevin Carney or whatever. And Veronica goes snooping around the art class where this vote was taken. And she sees the art room chalkboard had the order of who you would vote for flipped. So in Veronica's class, it was like, vote A for Wanda, vote B for Duncan. In this art class, it was vote A for Duncan, vote B for Wanda. So Veronica's like, oh, that's how this all got fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
There was some kind of huge conspiracy. And they bring it up to the principal.
Vice principal.
Keep messing that up.
I don't know. Because the principal's too busy. I mean, maybe he's the principal now. Again, I don't know.
He might be the principal. Maybe the principal got his head bitten off. Found him in the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
But Jane Lynch talks about how her student aide was the cheerleader, and the cheerleader was the one who made all of the instructions for voting, and she did it in such a way that all of the 09ers got more votes. Or like there was some kind of fuck up thing.
Well, she printed out
Duncan
different ones
win.
for different rooms, and the rooms where most people were going to vote for Wanda that had more 09ers, the rooms that she knew would just vote for Duncan, she kept normal, but the rooms that she knew would lean towards Wanda, she swapped.
Yeah. So the principal vice principal rolls his eyes, and he's like, all right, fine. Well, I guess we're going to have to do a re-election. So he goes over the intercom, and he's like, hey, something fucked up happened with the student council election. We're going to do another one on Thursday. So then Veronica goes over to the cheerleader, and she's like, heard you lost your student aid privileges and lost a bunch of pirate points, or you're going to lose a bunch of pirate points, and nobody likes you. So, meh. So then Veronica goes.
I just love that Jane Lynch is so mad about this and not seemingly mad at the cheerleader for doing this.
Yeah. Jane Lynch just wants Duncan in office.
Is she getting bribed by his dad?
Maybe. I don't understand her investment in this. I mean, I guess unless she doesn't like Wanda, because if she's like the person that's overseeing student council, she would have to like deal with Wanda. Yeah.
She could lean that way. That definitely makes more sense, but it doesn't. Mm-hmm. She doesn't give a hint of that.
Yeah. So Veronica starts looking over that picture from the Lilly Kane murder case, and she's doing a little zoom in and enhance. She's into MS Paint, by the way.
Oh, nice.
And she sees the shoes, And on it is a little heart that Veronica drew on it in a flashback. And it's a heart that says Duncan. And Lilly looks at it and she's like, this is weird now. Remember, Veronica recalls the news story about the Abel Kuntz thing. And she was like, I need to investigate that tape some more. So she calls the news station for the report on the Abel Kuntz case because she wants to do some comparing and contrasting about some stuff. Because she thinks it's suspicious that part of the evidence were those shoes, but part of the crime scene had the shoes in it.
Yeah, the shoes are in the crime scene pictures. They can't be on the boat. Smoking gun, like it's right there. Like get in touch with some lawyers. Like get this guy out of jail.
Case is broken wide open.
Yeah, man. I'm like being falsely in prison and falsely accused. Like, and I'm sure this guy is being paid off for something. He's probably got, you know what? Whoever put the sniper rifles onto Veronica's probably doing the same thing to this guy to be like, oh, I'm going to hurt a loved one if you don't like just go along with this case. That would be my prediction.
Okay. Makes sense.
But yeah, if Veronica goes, hey, here's some photos and here's the time wouldn't matter as much because that's only for the family members.
Yeah. So we go to Jake, Kane, and Duncan eating some tacos from a taco truck. And Jake still wants Duncan to do the president stuff. And Duncan's like, I don't want to do it. I am not into it. And Jake is like, look, man, I don't care if you want to do it or not. I just want you to be engaged in life in something. I don't care if it's the student council thing. I thought that way might make you happy, some kind of sport or something. You're just like are such in a malaise recently, and we need to break you out of it. Because like, honestly, bro, I care about you. Like, I want your happiness over anything. That's all I want. And you're just like, you're fucking bumming me out, bro.
I wish it was more of that, but he's like, I want you to be happy. And then Duncan's like, what if I was happy just like carving driftwood? And he's like, be the best driftwood carver you can. But after you go to Stanford and major in law, cum laude, and then they laugh awkwardly together, and then that's the scene.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, that's the whole scene?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Like his dad has just been like, politics, get into it for the last like couple episodes. That's like his whole character arc. And I'm like, are we still worried about him being a murderer or?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think he did it.
I don't either. But I think that Lilly needed to be taken out based on what we've seen.
The only way the dad would take out Lilly, like I did think about your saying that your joke is she had to be taken out. It's like him being like, no way Duncan can make it into politics with this bad.
Oh, yeah.
So he has to get rid of it before she gets him into trouble. Back when in American politics, like, you had to be kind of more spotless record to be.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all.
Son can be a crackhead. You can be a fucking misogynistic, potential sexual assaulter.
The bar is broken. The bar is it's not like lowered. It's just not there anymore.
Well, I guess convicted. Well, he had that case.
No, he was convicted.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was convicted.
He's a convicted felon
or something. Yeah,
he's a convicted felon.
No, I was talking about like the sexual assault stuff.
Yeah, he's a convicted felon.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, no, like you can literally be convicted now.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from afar.
I wonder if that's one of those songs where if you heard the second or third verse, you'd be like, oh, that's actually kind of bad.
Yeah, no, it's probably. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Jake wants Duncan to do the student council shit. So then Veronica's at school. Wanda's posters have all been tagged with narc on them, and her fucking locker's been tagged with narc. And Veronica has a giant Duncan for president sticker over her locker. And Wanda's all pissed off about it because not only did they spray paint narc all over her campaign posters, they did it on her car too. And Veronica's like, hey, don't worry about it. Let's make some new posters. Let's hang out just like old times, like our pep squad days. Make new posters. This isn't over. They're only calling you names because they know that there's weakness, and they're just trying to discredit you.
They spray painted her fucking car, dude.
Yeah, that's serious.
Like, Veronica's like, don't worry, come over to my place. We'll make some posters. That'll solve this. This is how we'll win the campaign. It's like, they just spray painted my car. Like, someone at the school should do something about that.
Yeah, are there no cameras in this parking lot or something? Like,
hey, I know you just ordered Chinese food for lunch. Can't have that. There's students spray painting lockers. You want to get on that, vice principal?
Duct taping nude students to poles.
Yeah.
Veronica Mars, trouble follows you.
What did you do, Veronica?
Cut the guy down. I cut them down.
Hey, you know you can't graffiti your car and drive it to school, Wanda.
Yeah. Come to my office for being a narc.
When this narc thing happened, I thought it was about the recount, but it's not. Mm-hmm. We find out it's not later. But before, I was like, this is a weird. I was getting like some real present day, like, wait, so actually calling a recount because you cheated in an election is like, now that's a narc? I was like, what is happening? And it was like, oh, this is for something else. But we don't know that. Watching it in this order.
I was seeing the same thing that you were seeing. I was like, why is she a narc? I was just like, oh, this is back in the day where you could call somebody a narc or like gay or something, and that would just like ruin their reputation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just being like a snitch. It's like, wait, I snitched on you guys stealing the election from me.
I mean,
it's still that way.
Wallace did have snitch painted on his chest when they tied him to the flagpole.
Oh, no, it pays off in the Weevil scene, too, because it's the same type of thing.
Yeah. So Veronica goes to journalism class, and she's yelling at Logan. She's like, are you happy? Are you happy? And then Logan does this, like, weird stutter. Did you notice? I was like,
well, he's kind of making fun of her or something.
Well, he's like, oh, are you worried about your girl, Wanda? And I was like, what was that?
I don't know the reference that he's making, but he's definitely trying to poke fun at Wanda. Okay. I don't know.
Because Wanda doesn't have a stutter.
No, I don't know what it's...
Logan doesn't.
I don't know what it is, but I know he's trying to do something, and it's missing for us, but maybe back then, maybe there's a Wanda reference in media.
Is there a fish called Wanda? Does she have a stutter?
I don't know. It's definitely something. It's definitely there for a reason, but I don't know.
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
But Veronica's like, I hope you're proud. Like, you know, you're spray painting narc everywhere. And Logan's like, I didn't do shit. Typical Logan. Prove it.
I gotta say, Logan does have a point. It's like, Veronica, I can't be the problem. I can't be the cause of all your problems or whatever. Like, every time something goes wrong, she does go to him. And then it's like, not his fault because he didn't do the narc stuff. He made the video, which I gotta say, that's fine. Like, he made a video and made Duncan run for president. I could see doing that as a prank for a friend. Not one that you actually want to win, but just like putting that in. And you're like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah. Like, that's a good high school, like, prank that you could pull. Especially if you don't think they're ever going to win or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, like, he just did that. So he didn't do the narc thing. He is doing bum fights. Do not forget that. He's a terrible person. Yep. Do not off the hook for that.
So he scoffs at Veronica. He leaves. Then Veronica goes over to Duncan. She's like, you're just going to let this happen? And Duncan's like, let what happen?
Dude, the scene is so crazy because he goes to Logan. She goes to Logan. Logan leaves. And then she turns around and goes, oh, here's another person I could yell at that looks almost the same. Duncan, what did you do now?
Like, are you just going to do what you normally do, Duncan? And he's like, oh, yeah, what is that? And Veronica's like, you know what it is. And he's like, no, say it. Say it out loud. Say the quiet part out loud, Veronica. And Veronica goes, All right, well, you don't initiate the trouble, but you'll just sit idly by while bad stuff happens and you'll do nothing to stop it. You're a piece of shit, Duncan. Have some agency.
Now, I agreed with this when I was watching it, but having you like recap these scenes, you brought up a key point that he stands up in the classroom and says, "Don't vote for me."
Yep.
I don't know what else he could do in that situation. I don't know what more he can do. When the video plays in every classroom and he's in a class and immediately after it happens, he says, "Don't vote for me."
Yeah.
That is not standing.
And immediately it's vote time. Like he couldn't go to every class.
Like,
be like, hey, don't vote for me.
I don't know what he's supposed to do. Is he supposed to do a Paul Revere down the hallway ringing a bell? Don't vote for me? Like, what? I don't know. So he's not standing idly by. We have seen him stand idly by in other episodes, but in this one, he's not.
Mm-hmm.
I just like don't have him do that. Make him just like look at Logan and be like, oh, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, man, it is interesting. But then, new wrinkle to the story. Ryan Hansen comes up to Logan. He goes, "Bro, you're fucking famous." And Logan's like, I mean, yeah, I guess. And he goes, "No, dude, your online video, it's going crazy. It's going crazy on the internet." And Logan's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Go look it up, dude. Look up your name." So Logan goes over to a computer and he like Googles himself. And his bum fight videos are going viral. And he's looking at this and he's like, "Oh, this is not good."
Well, the thing is, the news report says son of Aaron Echolls has running some illegal bum fights and they have footage of him. So it's not about, they don't care that the kid's doing it. It's that the famous celebrity has a name attached to it.
Yep.
If it was just some random kid, and it would be like, because they're not even trying to stop it. No police or anybody are even coming to like talk to him. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah, and Logan's just watching it like, "Oh no, I am so grounded."
They're going to take my car away again.
Yeah, I'm going to have to drive around a panel van again.
Veronica, did you do this?
Yeah. So then we go to Wanda and Veronica. They're making new campaign posters for Wanda.
Why didn't Wanda just narc on the bum fights? That would have been a nice tie-in.
I don't know. But then Veronica is like, or Wanda is talking. They're chit-chatting about, you know, boys and stuff. And Wanda's like, "So what's your deal with that guy Weevil, huh? Like, you and him like hooking up or something?" And Veronica's like, "What?
No. She mentioned Lilly hooking up with Weevil.
Well, yeah, she goes, "I thought that you might share like
okay.
Lilly Kane's bad boy thing."
Yeah.
And Veronica's like, "No, I don't know. I just know him. He's helped me out with a couple of things." And Wanda's like, "Okay."
Yeah, but I think she's thinking, Wanda's alluding that Lilly might have hooked up with Weevil.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Which is what you speculated.
Yeah, you don't cry at that memorial like that.
Yeah, especially because that memorial sucked ass.
The fountain sucked. The memorial was bad. The memorial was okay. But I mean,
That's when we started getting Logan winking and smiling at Veronica.
Yeah.
And then the next episode, they're like buddy. She's driving him from Mexico or whatever. Yeah. And now he's a psycho again.
Yeah.
Whatever. But then they start talking about college, and I was like, I can't even think about college. Just go into debt, and I need to ace the SATs and all this shit.
Yeah. And Veronica's like, "Well, I already have a full-time job as one of the premier detectives in town."
I keep getting that 10% from all these scam artists.
Yeah. I just had $8,000 in my hand the other day.
So then we have Logan coming home, and he's just like walking around. And then his dad, Aaron, is sitting in a chair in the darkness. And Logan's like, "Oh, hey, what's up, Dad?" And Aaron's like, "I'll tell you what the fuck is up, my dude. Can you explain to me why? My phone is ringing every 5 seconds to discuss not my charity work, not my upcoming Christmas movie, but it's to discuss my son who's organizing bum fights.
Skid row boxing, as he call it.
Yeah. And Logan's like, yeah. And then Aaron walks over to him. He's like, I just cannot believe how fucking dumb you are. Like, why would you do this? This is a blemish on our family's reputation. You are such a bad piece of shit. And then he grabs him in the back of the head and he shoves him onto the couch. Logan falls over the arm of the couch and just looks back at his dad for a very long time.
This scene, I was like, are we supposed to feel bad for Logan or the dad here? Like, what do we do? I have more thoughts of it later, but
yeah,
I was like, what are we trying to do here?
Yeah, because at this point, I feel like I'm on the dad's side.
Right? Except for the dad had a line like, you haven't had to work for anything in your life. And I'm like, well, he is in high school. I mean, how much stuff is he's going to have to work for at this point?
That's always hilarious when like the parents that are spoiling their kids are like, you're a spoiled brat. It's like, that's not their fault.
And most parents want to give their kids stuff. Like, I don't like the one we've seen kids working at video stores. We've seen Wallace working at the convenience store, but it's not like he worked at those places and now he knows what like everything is, you know. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's just one of those lines like, you haven't had to work for anything. It's not like he's 20 something.
Yeah, but then Aaron leans over and he goes, tomorrow we're going to fix this. You're going to get your first lesson in public relations. We're going to go to a soup kitchen. You're going to volunteer and you're going to do this stuff. And it's all for the PR move. And you're never going to fucking embarrass me like that again. And then he walks away and Logan is just like left standing there or laying on the couch. Just like this. He's just staring at his dad. Like, I don't know. Something about the way that this is.
He looks like a battered spouse, you know?
Yeah. Something about it is like, this doesn't, something feels off about it.
And the house is so dark and dimly lit.
Yeah.
It's like the dad just caught his spouse cheating on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the way Logan's like on the couch too, like kind of bent over and looking over his shoulder.
Yeah, it's like kind of seductive, like he's trying to like seduce his dad. But I kept waiting for like
Logan
more
to say something?
physical abuse.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is where the turn is, because as of right now, like Aaron Echolls has seemed like nice guy dad, and he's like worried about his reputation. I was expecting more like he was going to like actually lay into Logan here, but then he doesn't, and I was like, oh, okay. And then he's like trying to like fix the problem with like volunteer work, and he's like, dude, you fucked up, Logan, and this is how we're gonna fix it. And I was like, okay,
right. Yeah, that seems like an easy fix.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, well, and then Logan's just looking terrified, and I was like, well, I don't really get it yet. I mean, you could argue the shove was a little much, but like,
I don't know. Onto that like plush couch. Yeah.
I don't know.
It was like he backhanded him. He fell through the coffee table or something.
Yeah. But so then we have Veronica campaigning for Wanda, and she's telling people to vote. And now people are like, ugh, Wanda. Ugh, I would never. She's a narc.
This is where the episode takes a turn for me. Like the stuff that starts happening where it's more of like, what is the messaging that they're trying to get across?
Yeah. So then Weevil shows up and Veronica's like, hey, Weevil, vote for Wanda. And Weevil's like, I'm not fucking voting for that narc asshole. And Veronica's like, what is your deal, man? Why?
Yeah.
What's going on? And I kind of got a little bit lost in this explanation. So if you know the details of what happened.
There's another part where I had to like think again, because they do a lot of this Wanda stuff is stuff that she's done off screen that you have to like be told that she did.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to type at the same and like something wasn't connecting for me.
So apparently some guy got busted for stealing street signs, and they found out about it because that guy had hooked up with Wanda, and he must have told, and now he's doing like community service because of it.
Yeah, I think that Wanda tattled on him for stealing the signs.
So now we introduced Wanda being with the guy we haven't seen, tattling on him. I don't know to who. And this guy now doing community. Like this, it's a lot of secondary storytelling. Like, who? What? Like, and I'm like, wait, so that's why she's considered a narc? Who spray painted it? That guy spray painted it? The guy we've never met before? Or
did Weevil do it on behalf of him?
Like, yeah. So, and now
how come it wasn't getting spray painted until after the election?
Yeah, it's one of those things where they throw that in. And my question here is, so Weevil would rather vote for an 09er who he doesn't like than to vote for Wanda. Like, I
mean, there were 3 other candidates that he could have voted for that we see.
True. But this is classic, like, American politics, that third party. You essentially not voting for Wanda means Duncan Kane wins.
Dude, I remember really like one election, like really like vibing with one of the third party candidates, and then they just fucking dropped the ball so hard on like some really simple question, and it just discredited them. And I was like, thought that there might be somebody.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that a country with this many people that we can't like get 3 viable candidates.
I know. Not even 3.
I just want to be able to pick, screw sides. I just want to be able to be like, you know what? I like that person more, but if that person wins, I don't care. That's the level that I want to be at. Like, I want to have a preference, but not like, oh my God, if that person wins, shit. I just want to be like, oh, well, the person I would pick didn't win, but okay. It's like watching the Super Bowl when you don't have a team in it, and you're just like, all right,
just want a good game.
You're like, or you're like, oh, I'm rooting for that team, but if that team loses, I'm fine with the other team winning.
Yeah.
But now it's just so like, it's got to be like, it's just doom and gloom.
Yeah. Like,
but yeah, like, here's my thing. In this situation, Weevil, if you don't vote for Wanda, Duncan wins. So basically, you're essentially voting for Duncan.
Yeah.
None of the third parties none of the other people running seem like they even came close.
Yeah. So Veronica goes up to Wanda after this, and she's like, hey, you want to fucking party? And they're going to go to a rave in the desert. So does she mention that they're going to do ecstasy?
So it took me a real minute to like figure out what was going on with this part and what happens later. This is Veronica baiting based off of what Weevil said. Weevil just said that Wanda's a narc. And now Veronica's trying to be like, is Wanda a narc? So she's saying, hey, win or lose, let's hang out and let's go to this desert place. And do we need any provisions with the capital E? Being like, oh, ecstasy. So like Veronica's implying that she does drugs and that she'll do it like with her, you know?
Yeah.
And and like after school, after the vote, basically.
Yeah, this whole thing, like this whole situation, these 2 back to back, I was so lost.
It's so much. Like it took me a minute later to like figure out what was happening then. So I know there are people listening to this podcast without watching the show, so I'm trying to explain it for them. But yeah, Veronica's basically kind of testing Wanda here with this lead up. Because the scene seems crazy. You're like, capital E, like what? Veronica, are you trying to figure out if she does drugs? Or like, at first I thought she was trying to figure out if Wanda does drugs.
That's because Wanda asks Veronica, like, are there any provisions?
Mm-hmm.
And then Veronica goes, oh, there are provisions with a capital E.
Yeah.
And I was like,
so Veronica's trying to say that she herself has the drugs. to see if Wanda will narc on her.
Yeah.
It was like not an easy get right away.
Okay. I'm glad that I was like a little bit lost in there.
The whole narc turn feels random.
Yeah.
And it comes out of nowhere, too. Like, it's not about,
And it spread like wildfire across the school, apparently.
Rumors do that, I guess.
Yeah. So then Veronica's in journalism class, and they're having the vote now, and they're making sure that there's no funny business. The principal announced, like, you're voting A for Wanda, B for Duncan. All those other characters, who gives a fuck?
This is how we should have done it originally. I don't know why we had teachers grab a printout and write it on their board.
And then Veronica's like, well, now I don't know who to vote for. Should I vote for Duncan, who is my hot and cold ex-boyfriend? Or should I vote for Wanda, a new/old friend that I don't know if I can trust? And then we get a flashback.
This flashback, dude. Fucking, I hate stuff like this so much. I do. I hate this.
So it's Veronica with Duncan at the table with the 09ers and Logan. And there's just a fucking typical, stereotypical, you type in the word nerd into Google image search, and this guy pops up. Sits next to
Watch
Duncan.
this actor be like a model now.
I know, right? So he sits next to Duncan, and Ryan Hansen comes up, and he's like, hey, fucking nerd, you can't sit here with us. You need to go sit with the other nerds. And he takes his tray, and he puts it on the table with the other nerds or whatever. And then Duncan, who has not been paid, he's had his back turned to this entire situation.
Yeah, he's just holding Veronica's hand, staring at her eyes, like being the most annoying couple at lunch.
Yep. He overhears this ruckus, and he turns around, and he looks at the injustice that is happening, and he grabs the nerd's tray, and he puts it back to where he was originally sitting next to Duncan. He goes, hey, nerd, it's cool for you to sit with us. Ryan Hansen can sit somewhere else. And the nerd's like, Duncan Kane just talked to me. Regina George slapped me in the face, and it was the best day of my life.
And then Ryan Hansen's like,
Yeah.
and just walks away.
Duncan immediately, after he puts the tray back down, tells him, hey, you can sit here with us. Turns his back to him again and just like interlaces with Veronica, and he's back to like lovey-dovey.
Yeah, enjoy talking to Logan. Nerd. Sure, you guys gonna have a lot in common. This, again, I bring up the fact that Veronica called out Duncan for always sitting idly by. And then in her own flashback, she has a memory of him not sitting idly by.
Yeah.
What? Did she just remember this? I just show him sitting idly by, and then have him have a stand-up moment like this at some point, and then you go like, oh yeah, her words affected him. Not, oh, Veronica remembered that what she said didn't make any sense.
To be fair, Veronica is discovering a lot of stuff through her flashbacks, like her mom being like, hey, we should leave and go to Palm Springs for 6 months. I don't want you dating Duncan Kane.
But
like,
at least,
her mom's face
but at least
dropped.
that is triggered from like what she found. Like
Yeah.
she's literally deciding, who should I vote for? I voted last week. Now I'm voting now. Oh, wait. Duncan is a good guy sometimes? Because we've also seen him stand idly by while Logan just like talks shit about her or treats her like shit and all this other stuff.
I mean, Logan does. In the first episode, when they're driving by and Logan's like talking shit to Veronica about like, where's your mom? Oh, she's still missing. Duncan's like, stop it.
Yeah, but he lets that go on way too long. Like, Logan is really trying to get her to drink. He's got the flask. Like, it's a long scene. That stop it is like, all right, you've done enough. I'll let you go on for like 2 more minutes, but then you got to wrap it up. But here, he's the coolest, like, most popular, most powerful person in their group. When this nerd sits
very
down.
magnanimous too. He's just like, hey, nerd. Gives him a little ruffles his hair.
It's like,
You're a good nerd.
Veronica, you're like closer to that nerd than you are to the other.
Yeah.
She's in the in crowd. Never thought she'd be on the outside. But I hated this flashback for her to be like, to justify what she's going to vote for.
Yeah. Maybe Duncan isn't as bad as I think he is.
You mean the guy you dated and were broken up about him breaking up with you? Like you didn't break up with him because you found out he was a bad person.
Yeah. Well, I also love like this is interspliced with like shots of Duncan just like looking the most lifeless, dumb idiot while Veronica's like staring at him like in present day, not in the flashback. But he's just like staring down at a piece of paper like,
Will they find out I can't read? But yeah, this is where the episode turned from like, all right, let's see what happens. And then all of a sudden it's just like Wanda's a narc and now we don't know who to vote for. It's like, why not just have her not be a narc and have it just be like, hey, you know what? The popular kid still won. Like, It's just, that's how it works. It's such a interesting turn on her character.
Yeah. So then we go to Aaron Echolls, go into the same gas station that Logan was at earlier. And this is where he explains like what they're going to do. It's like, we're going to go to the homeless shelter. You're going to volunteer and we're going to get some camera crew to film it. It's going to be a good PR move. So while he's getting gas, he's like getting phone calls about like, making deals and all this shit. The squeegee guy from earlier comes up to Logan. He's like, hey, what's up, Don King? Look at this fucking idiot. He's clowning Logan. And then eventually like he leaves. Aaron gets back in the car and they have like these weird lingering shots.
Before all of that, this is the scene that kind of broke me a little bit.
Okay, let's hear it.
We're not doing quote unquote, but if we were,
no, it's a Patreon thing.
But if we were, this would be the section for me. Because the dad says he gets a phone call. And like you said, there's a lot of Logan just staring at his dad here. But
the last parts of this scene is just Logan like unedited, just staring at his dad for like 7 seconds.
And I hated it because of what they're trying to do with this.
Yeah.
So the dad's all pissed off and wants to take him to the soup kitchen so they can do this photo op. Logan's going to be at the soup kitchen. And then Aaron Echolls going to show up and like, make a little cameo there and call it a day. So you're like, all right, fine. Dad's just this normal thing, like, I don't know, the kid does something bad, you kind of punish him with some stupid stuff.
I feel like that's a kind of a good lesson to teach Logan.
I feel like it's getting off too easy too for the kid because you can just go there and be like, I'm sorry, I didn't know that fighting bums was a bad thing, but now I'm serving them soup or forgiveness. That bullshit.
And it's just like the quickest turnaround too. Like, I didn't know it was wrong.
I didn't know.
Now here I am.
Now that I've been caught, I realized. But it's fine. But it's fine. This is exactly what you would have to do. Yeah.
I also need to lend credence to like Aaron Echolls is literally doing this just for PR. Like,
well, we'll get to that. Like, he has to do it for PR. Like, the problem is it became his issue because he's a celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
If Logan was nobody, it wouldn't even make the news. So
yeah.
So Aaron Echolls is filling up the gas tank, and then he gets a phone call, and he's talking about this movie that's really bad, and he's like, "Oh, the script's terrible." Blah 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 blah. And he was like, "Wait, what? How much?" Well, have him send over the paperwork. And then he says to Logan, "How do you argue with 8 figures? You can't be done." And then we got Logan just staring at him like, "Dad sucks," right? And then this is when the vet, homeless vet or guy comes over. Marine. Yeah. And he goes, "Oh, hey, Don King, you find some sucker willing to make a bitch out of himself for cash?" And that's just like so on the nose. Like, make a bitch out of himself for cash. And then he like stares at his dad. He's like, "My dad is doing that." And I just wrote in my notes, "Ugh," because it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
You can't like equate Logan running bum fights and paying random dudes $100 to fight for the entertainment of these like rich high schoolers, to an actor being like, well, the script's bad, but I'll do the movie anyway. That's not even close to being on the level. Like, that is not even close to... It's like, oh, Dad, you're selling out. You're going to do that action movie for $10 million? Like, what? That's not even... That's not a problem.
Yeah. I mean, that's like well known in the industry too. They do this stuff like, oh, you do one for them, you do one for yourself, or whatever.
Or you do an indie one and it bombs and people are like, why'd you do that movie? It's not like he's screwing people over by being in this movie. Whoever wrote that bad script is actually getting a A-list actor to be in it, which is going to help that person. It's crazy that they try to make it that the dad's terrible for this thing. Sure, he cares about money. Sure, he's probably not a great guy. But to pit what Logan did versus what Aaron's doing is accepting a job offer from his agent is gross.
I just hated the cinematography after this when he gets in the car and they have like a close up of his dad like turning the car on and putting his hand on like the stick shift.
What was that close up for? I saw that because I rewinded it back just so I could get the lines and stuff. And I was like, wait, what is he pushing in the car? Is it just the car has a push start? Was that it?
Maybe. I mean, it was 2004. Was that like a rarity back then?
Well, probably. But also like he's a A-list celebrity actor. Like he's a rich actor and he just agreed to a deal. Like, I don't know.
But yeah, like they have that and then his hand is like putting it on the stick shift. It's like, were there like bruises on his knuckles or anything? Like,
there's a way to do this where you can go like, you're no better than me. This does not do that for me.
Yeah.
For me, like the dad is like, well, I'm doing a bad movie for a lot of money. It's like, all right.
Yeah. Like also, hey, guess what? 95% of people hate their jobs and they're literally only doing them for the money.
Logan, where do you think you got the $100 that you're paying these bums from?
Yeah, dude. But dude, like that long extended shot of Logan just staring at Aaron.
Because I also can get being resentful of your like famous absentee parent who puts on a different face in the media, public persona versus like personal persona. We still haven't gotten there yet, Yeah. I just didn't like the equivalency that they were trying to do here. Especially like, hey, did you find someone willing to make a bitch out of himself? It's like, he's an action actor, dude. It's like,
yeah. And again, like up until this point, I feel like Aaron is like fine.
Yeah.
Like when all the people are in the yard and he's like, hey man, like these are people that pay tickets to see my movies. Like I gotta appreciate them.
Yeah.
Like that's just part of the job.
He's like Nick Cage on his like, I'm just in a bunch of movies era,
Yeah. Like when you see like the posters for the movies that he's in, it's like threat level midnight type shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's what happened. I don't know, man.
I don't know. He just was getting gas in the tank and he got $10 million or so. Like, that's a good day.
Good for you, bro.
Yeah.
But, and dude, would I be in a shitty movie for 10 million? Absolutely, I would. Absolutely, I would. And Logan's like looking at him, judging, and like the squeegee guy is there, like, look at this bitch selling his soul for 10. Dude.
Yeah, this thing just was like, it just didn't hit me the right way, man.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Yeah.
But then we go to the soup kitchen and Logan's doing his volunteering and news crews are there and they're interviewing Aaron, and Aaron like pulls Logan aside and he like has his arm around him. He's like, this is my son. And I gotta tell you, like, he's made some mistakes recently. Like he's learned from them though, and he's here doing this PR volunteering. He'll never be here again, but today he's doing it. So we'll get it on camera. And he feels really bad. And I gotta tell you something, like this kid, like you might think he's a bad kid right now, but he's gonna learn from this. and he's got a good heart inside of him. Like he's got a good heart. And the whole room goes, oh.
I needed them to cut to a guy with like frozen peas on his eyes because he was in the bum fight last night. But yeah, the whole "aw" like that, dude, it
was so bad.
Gross.
And then Logan starts to talk and he's like, yeah, I know. Now I know what I was doing was wrong and I'm sorry. And I just, it's tough. And I want to live up to my, talking it over with my dad and like all the charity work that he's done. Like he's such a good example for me and I want to live up to his good example. And then they hug for the camera. And then Logan goes, and my dad is such a good example that fuck it. This was supposed to be a secret that we talked about earlier, but I'm going to say it. My dad has decided to give $500,000 to this food bank. And everyone's like, oh my God. And Aaron looks at Logan like, this my, oh boy. Oh, and like, Aaron's like, he's held prisoner to the camera at this moment. And he has to play along with it like, yeah, I guess I'm doing that. Yeah. And he's like tapping his son on the shoulder like a little extra hard, like, this fucking guy. And Logan's like, yeah, I got one up on you, you piece of shit.
Yeah. Like I knew this was coming as soon as he stared at him forever in the car ride over to this place. But you mentioned earlier when he first encounters Logan, he goes like, they're not talking about my charity work and all this stuff.
Yeah.
If you just signed an 8-figure deal, donated half of it to this charity, a tax write-off like thing, not the worst.
Yeah, and it's not even half of that 10 million. It's $500,000.
I know.
Like, I mean, that's just a good PR move. But like, based on what happens next, how did Logan think this was gonna go?
Yeah, this is the thing. This is the thing where they're trying to treat like, I don't like the. I've never been a fan of like excusing the bad behavior of one character by showing the past stuff and then like trying to be like, well, obviously that happened, so we have to excuse the bad things he does. No, he done the bum fights is bad. Yeah. There's nothing that the dad has done that equates to him paying people to fight for his entertainment. Like there's nothing that goes to that. Some of the other stuff that we've seen him do that's also awful. It's just bad person stuff.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. It's like how we were talking about the image rehabilitation. It's like they don't want to rehabilitate him by showing him being like kind of like layers on. They're just like, no, he has this thing, so that's why he's this bad. And if that wasn't there, I'm like, I don't necessarily buy that.
Yeah.
But I think this is shitty that he did this to the dad with the money thing like that. But the fact that it's only $500,000 donating it to it, if he didn't just sign a deal for,
it's not like it's not like he's invested in that like yet. Like he just got this 10 million. He didn't even know it was happening. Like he just got it.
I'm just saying and I'm just saying 10 million. It could be 20. Who knows?
Yeah, so, I was gonna say we're on the lowest end of that 8-figure spectrum.
Yeah. So if he's getting 10 million and he just found out he lost $500,000, he's still 9.5 up. But rich people gonna rich people.
Exactly. But I was based on what happens next.
Yeah, you would never pull this trick based off of this.
I would.
And how did this not happen? How did this not happen before?
Right?
It doesn't make any sense, dude. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, maybe it did, and it was just off screen.
No, because he walked away. No.
So the next scene is one of the wildest scenes in the show so far. It's cinematically, this first scene is just gorgeous. Logan, he's like backlit. He looks angelic. There's a glow around him, a golden glow. And he's going through his closet. And it looks like, he's picking out some clothes. And he goes over to a whole closet section full of belts. And he's looking at them. He's like picking one up. He's looking at it like, no, maybe not that one tonight. Picks up another one. He's like, yeah, that's the one. He takes it off of its little hanger and he folds it in half. And he's like looking at it like, yeah, I like this belt. And then he walks into his dad's office, gives Aaron the belt. It's in that pale blue light.
Mm-hmm.
The door to Aaron's office closes slowly. And then you just hear the thwack of Aaron whipping his son with a belt. Slow pan from the door of the office to Aaron's wife, who is drinking like a whiskey on the rocks, staring directly into camera for what seems like an eternity.
The funniest part was I was drinking whiskey and I took a sip right when she was taking the sip. So I feel like me and her were both watching this.
Just cheers to it.
Me and her were both watching this like, what is going on with those two again? This scene, the quote that we have from one of the characters in the series that we're doing on Patreon. Break me off a switch, son. There's about to be a whooping.
Yep.
He literally is picking out a belt to get whipped, to get a spanking. Yep. I think it would have been better if he had to pull his pants down, lay over his dad's lap, and get a bare butt spanking.
Bare butt, back and balls.
That would have been hilarious. What the fuck is this, dude?
Dude, it's all filmed in slow-mo and just like artistic, and like the music that's playing is like this sad trip hop type shit.
But what are we supposed to feel here? Am I supposed to be mad at Aaron Echolls? Am I supposed to be mad at Logan? Am I supposed to be disturbed by the whole family dynamic? What am I supposed to feel?
I think this is supposed to give some cover for why Logan is the way that he is.
Which I hate.
Yeah. But then, like, the wife drinking, like, just staring into the camera was so weird.
Because here's my thing also. We see that Troy, in last episode, his dad is, like, not playing around. He's like, fuck this shit. You're getting out of here, right?
Yeah.
Troy stole a troublemaker.
Yeah.
So it's like you can be a troublemaker without coming from like this crazy disturbed family. Yeah. Like Duncan is relatively level-headed for coming from like a family where his dad's a kind of a maniac. The mom's definitely up to something, and Lilly was a wild child, you know, like,
yeah.
So I don't know. Like this does not make me feel. This does not give me sympathy for Logan, because that's what I don't like. I don't like that you start with bum fights and then we end with like, don't you feel bad for this guy? I was like, no, man. Like,
yeah,
I don't want to do that. And then also, I don't know if it's just because we're older. Like, is it just weird that Aaron Echolls is having him pick out a belt to spank him with? But like, what would be like if they didn't pan over to the mom wife like just sipping whiskey while it's happening and just not having any reaction, like she's taking her own antidepressants. Like what would you want Aaron Echolls to do after this situation that would seem normal, but also,
what is the appropriate punishment for a child who just lost you $500,000?
Well, if you steal a car in Troy's household, do you get sent to
Albuquerque?
You get sent to Albuquerque.
Catholic school in Albuquerque.
And in this case, you just basically end up getting a spanking, which is like still getting off easy. I mean,
full disclosure,
he's way too old to be getting a spanking.
Right? That's the thing. He's like 16, 17 years old. I was like, this is weird.
That's what puts it at a level that's weird. Like if he was like 6, 7, like I don't know, I got spankings. I know
I was
people
gonna
don't
say
do
full
it.
disclosure.
Yeah.
I got spanked when I was a kid, but like by the time I was 16, 17, that shit was over.
It was over. It was, that's why it'd be funnier if he was getting a bare butt spanking.
Yeah.
But it's also, they made it so dramatic, like, oh my God, this. I mean, it's weird that he's so old and he's getting spanked, but it's like, what? But he knew this was coming. He knew this was coming. It seemed like he looked for the belt, like he knew what was happening. And this isn't the first time this isn't the first time the dad has done this. So he knows that's going to happen.
Like, what did he think was going to happen when he did the $500,000 thing?
Well, he's being defiant because fuck dad, because he took that deal. He's a fucking bitch. Yeah,
I get that he's being defiant, but if this is like a common occurrence, so much so that the wife isn't even phased, like I guess he had to have known. He was like, I'm just going to take it.
I'm just going to take it and get.
I'm just going to take the whipping.
But then it's like, did you ever learn any of your lessons about getting your dad in trouble for the bum fights? Like he's not remorseful for that at all. Like what? Yeah. I don't know. It's just so much there.
It's so bizarre. So bizarre.
It felt almost out of place for the show where we are, but now I think the show's just opening up to just get super weird.
But dude, like the cinematicness of him picking out the belt, like he was like in a black void with just the belt thing.
If this was like going to be some like S&M like lead up or something, like it's like what was what's that gray? The gray?
50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey. Like this seems like a 50 Shades of Grey room where he has like oh yes, okay. What kind of punishment would I like tonight? Okay.
Like he's looking at like what's going to be the blissful escape from reality today. And he's weighing his options with the belts. Like there's like 16 belts in that little rack, and he's just like looking at them like, what's today's belt going to be?
Yeah. Dude,
wild.
Like I said, we were going to talk about this part for. When I saw this, I was like, what are we doing?
Dude, the most baffling, like, I understand why Logan's getting whipped with the belt.
Yeah.
But then the lingering shot of the mom is what sent me. I was like, what?
Because we see her in the beginning, like at the door, and then we see her here. Like, she does not have any full scenes yet.
Well, I guess that's just like to show like her complacency and
apathy,
just like
that
lack
happens.
of like she's
in
a malaise.
But it didn't happen when he first found out. Like this is when you first find out that your son was doing bum fights and it's really coming down on you. The fact that he got a deal.
He got a chance. He got a chance. He didn't whip him right away. He gave him an opportunity to like, we're going to do a PR move. And then Logan fucked him over on that.
Here's the crazy part. Aaron Echolls got a 8-figure deal while this was going on.
Yeah, he didn't disprove.
He didn't even have to do the PR move to get the deal.
Yeah, his reputation took zero hit. That's the whole reason why Logan's going to the soup kitchen, because he's like, you're fucking up my reputation. And then on the way to the soup kitchen, he lands an 8-figure deal.
The way that has to work is that he's in negotiations with the deal. He doesn't get it because this thing is happening. It's really affecting his dad's actual career. Like if the dad was like losing out on jobs and then he donated another $500,000, it's like, Logan, you are fucking shit up. Instead, the dad,
I didn't even think about that. That's so true.
He got a job on the way to an apology. Like,
God,
that's,
what a scene, man. What a scene.
Yeah, man.
And it just feels so out of place. Like
this episode
doesn't seem real.
This episode
seems like a fantasy.
This episode does two things different. Like him getting a job on the way to trying to do the PR thing is strange because there's no effect for the Logan thing. And then the Veronica talking about Duncan being idle and standing by, when all the examples in the episode is Duncan not being idle.
Yeah, we're given like 3 examples of him not doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
wild episode,
anyway.
man.
Yeah. So Veronica's back in school and her locker is up for one of those inspections again. And, the sheriff is there and it's, she's annoyed because this happens to her a lot. And she's like, oh, I should just give you guys my locker combination so that make this easier. And there's nothing in her locker. Jane Lynch announces over the intercom that Duncan has won the presidency. Veronica goes over to find Wanda and she gives her some stickers back. And Veronica's like, oh, I can't believe that you didn't tell me that you were a narc for that.
Well, what happens here is also a thing. This is where I had to figure it all out. Because when she knew that they were going to go to her locker, and them going to her locker was her being like, okay, that's her confirmation.
Wanda narked on me.
And for some reason in my mind, I was like, oh, Wanda's going to plant some drugs in her locker or something.
I thought that's what was going on.
So and then when she had the flyers that she was giving back, I was like, did Veronica find out that there weren't drugs in there and then take it? But it was like, oh no. Veronica alluded that she was going to have drugs and then told them so that they would look, but she knows she doesn't. But I'm thinking, didn't they put that bong in Logan's locker that one time? So I'm afraid of people planting stuff in lockers. But that's what it was.
I was so lost in this scene. I'm glad that you pieced this together because I was lost that I went back and I was reading the Wanda for president stickers over and over again.
I was like, or these are drugs? I went back to see if she took something out or was she pocketing it? Also, if you are going to say, hey, I think this kid is having drugs, maybe they have it on her. Not just on their locker. Maybe they have them in their bag since they know you guys do locker checks. But it doesn't seem like you guys do bag checks. I don't know. And the vice principal, here's how you can tell because the vice principal looks so disappointed that he didn't find anything in there that he was really expecting. It wasn't such a random check. It was he got tipped off.
Yeah.
And then Veronica tells Wanda oh, you were going to sell me down the river just so that you could stay out of trouble? Because Wanda mentions that, oh, I got busted for possession and this is the only way that they would help clear my record or something. When did all that happen?
Yeah. Veronica goes up to Wanda and she's like, thanks a lot. Yeah. I fucking stayed up all night making posters with you. What the fuck? Yeah. And then Wanda is explaining I got busted for possession and this is the only way that I could clear my name.
Did you think about that before you started running? Why didn't they just have you not run so that Duncan Kane could win? Because, hey, let's let Duncan Kane win because his sister was murdered.
Yeah.
They didn't even play the sympathy card for his election.
Yeah. But Veronica gives her stickers back and she's like, can't believe you. And this is exactly why I didn't vote for you, Wanda.
What if Wanda wasn't actually a narc? It's confirmed after the fact.
Yeah. But then we go to Jane Lynch and she's all excited. She's announcing Duncan as the president.
Jeez. I mean, she's all about this Duncan.
She is radiating glee.
Yeah. Absolutely.
She's so happy about this. And the whole class cheers and Duncan goes up to give a speech and he's like, hey, everybody. I'm happy to be your president. I was a little skeptical at first, but you know what? I think that I can do some good stuff as president. And first order of business, pirate points are here to stay. And Logan's like, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Ow, I can't sit down. Have a seat, Logan. I'd prefer to stand.
I'll stand today. But then Duncan, little twist, he goes, in fact, I'm going to expand the Pirate Points program to people who get honors and that are in honors classes and who are in journalism clubs. And it's not just going to be sports and student council. We're going to expand it to basically everybody. And then one person cheers about that.
Yeah, I was like, it's one of those classic political things where I don't think these points were the biggest issue. But it was just that's the campaign you're running on, and that's it. You're going to vote your whole thing based off these points.
Yeah, and he's like, look, Duncan says, like, I think everyone should share in the benefits of the Pirate Point program.
What is the
He's
benefit?
He's the man of the people.
I want to know so much about this Pirate Point program.
Dude, same. I will say, earlier in the episode, they talk about how worthless and stupid student government is.
Mm-hmm.
As a person that was in student government, they're absolutely right.
100%. Student
government is so dumb.
I also made a campaign video in high school for the person running for our senior class president. The video got them to the debate, but then they lost the debate pretty hard. But the video was really fun.
How do you lose the debate?
You get out debated.
Like, I don't know, like what campaign promises.
No, it was just like when just like someone else is just like better answers. Yeah. Just like you're like, oh man, it's one thing to have a campaign video, but like if you actually had Wanda debating Duncan, Wanda would probably chew him up with like some funny comebacks and quips and stuff. But the video, like obviously Duncan looks better in that video.
As a member of my student council, the only thing that we ever did was decide the theme of our prom and investigate like the venue.
Oh yeah, I love the promises of we're going to change lunches up. It's like you have
yes,
you have no control over that.
Yeah, we're gonna have pizza every day, not just Fridays.
Yeah,
you do not have control of that.
No.
God. And that's where you learn about politics. Who's really in control? The adults in the room.
Jane Lynch.
But
did Duncan give a speech in the classroom? Like not in front of the whole school, but in front of like
just in the classroom.
So lame, dude.
There's like 20 people in that classroom.
Hey, did you hear that speech?
Everyone was pissed when he talked about expanding the Pirate Points program, which he would never be able to do.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Jane
make
Lynch
any
is
sense.
the one holding on to that.
What is it?
But whatever.
Yeah.
So then Veronica goes back to the Mars Investigations offices and she's like, I'm going to do some more investigating into the Lilly Kane murder case. I'm going to go into my dad's safe. Oh, whoops. He changed the combination so he knows that I've been snooping.
I do want to bring up one other thing from the scene before.
Okay.
Jake Kane is there.
Yeah.
What? Did he call him? Why is the dad there during the middle of the school day standing outside the classroom watching the speech? Like, this isn't like, if I can understand if this was like the official next day or something in front of the school body. This is just like him impromptu giving the speech, it feels like.
Yeah. There's no like coronation of the new student council president.
Is the dad just happen to be there? Like, why is he there? Did he call him? Hey, Dad, I won the thing I don't really care about. You mind coming down and listening to my speech?
Yeah. I've got great campaign promises that you need to hear about.
Now I'm running this $1 billion software video thing, and I'm trying to wipe Logan's bum fights off the internet. I can't do this.
But yeah, Veronica, she was trying to snoop. Keith changed the combination. Veronica comes home. Keith is sitting there on the couch, just like
that's his power seat, man. He sits there like, I know everything. I know your boyfriend's a massive tool.
He's taking up so much space. His arms are spread out on the couch. His head's leaned back. So cocky.
Yeah.
Man spreaded, like feet up on the table. Veronica comes in. He's like, hey, Veronica, got a package over there from Action 9 News or whatever. What's that about? Veronica's like, doing a class journalism project where we're supposed to compare and contrast national news to local news. And like, she shook, like, cause she's like been found out.
Yeah, she knows when he's sitting in that seat, it's just an interrogation.
Oh, just the fucking body language is so good.
Yeah.
And she takes the package and she's walking to her room. And then she's just like, you know what? Fuck all this. She goes back into the other room. She goes, look, we got to stop this game that we're playing, this spy versus spy bullshit. You know I'm lying. And he's like, yeah. She's like, and you know that I've been like snooping through your combination lock and I've been like investigating the Lilly Kane murder thing. And it seems like you are too. And Keith's like, all right, let's drop all pretenses here. Let's fucking gloves off. Here's what's going on here. I was investigating it, but then I stopped because I couldn't find anything. And I felt like, nobody really gave a fuck about what I had to say anymore. And I kind of hit a corner. I don't have any other evidence. And Veronica's like, funny you should say that because I actually do have the evidence. It's in this tape, which is not for a class project. And then she puts the tape in the VCR, shows him the stuff about the shoes, where the sheriff's got the shoes in the Ziploc bags, the evidence bags. And then she's like, and then you have this picture that was in your files where like the shoes are present at the scene of the crime pictures. And then Keith goes, oh shit. So Abel Koontz couldn't have had the shoes. Why was he in possession of the shoes? And Veronica's like, exactly. And I feel like here she should have also told him about the traffic ticket.
Yes. That like,
because it's
really,
like we're dropping all pretenses now. Like we can bust this shit wide open.
I think that has to come up next episode to like add on to like, and you know how you think Jake Kane might have done it? The guy who was just at my school, like watching his son accept the highest office in school.
Duncan is the new vice principal.
You know how like Duncan is also a suspect and Jake Kane's the suspect? Well, they're like one controls the school, one controls the city. So you're still going to fight an uphill battle and the sheriff hates us. So, but you got to tell him about the traffic ticket to verify like he had at least that. I think that comes up next episode or something.
It has to.
But the thing that's killing me with Keith is the fact that he said, yeah, stop trying to solve this murder because it wasn't going to make people change their views on us. It wasn't going to bring your mom back. I'm like, but you would be solving the murder of a young teenage girl. Is that not enough for you? Yeah. Is that not enough to solve the murder of your daughter's friend? No, it's not going to bring
personal interests.
Yeah, it's not going to bring your mom back, and the town doesn't like her. So, killer goes free. Fuck it. And the guy I know is not guilty can die in jail. Like, what, Keith?
Set to get the death penalty within a year, and he's like, let him.
Fuck it. No one cares.
Anyway, so what's going on with your bum fight friend?
And also, Keith, not the best detective. If he had the files,
he did.
Like, sure, he might not know the shoes because, like, Veronica drew on the shoes so she can spot them more clearly. But if you're him and you've been going over this case multiple times and the evidence found in Koontz's thing is shoes and you've been poring over evidence, maybe you stumble across it.
Well, that's the thing, too. Veronica says, like, I haven't seen these pictures before. This must be new. So when exactly did Keith give up on the investigation?
Well, they were in the thing. No, he's been like looking in there because it feels like that safe has mostly only Jake Kane stuff in it.
Yeah.
I was saying.
But no, when Veronica, but did she say like this is new or like I haven't seen this before?
She says I haven't seen these before.
Okay.
I think. Right. But also I was like, why haven't you seen it?
Yeah.
Whatever.
It makes sense why she wouldn't have seen it because she's kind of on a time crunch and she's sneaking around. Yeah.
But
Keith could come back and then she has to like shove everything away.
I wonder what Keith has been figuring out. What has he put together in all this time that he's been researching this?
Yeah, I don't know. But that's where the episode ends with Keith going, what was Abel Koontz? How were they in Abel Koontz's possession?
We're going to have a follow-up about that first episode where Celeste asks about Jake Kane having an affair and maybe the mom being there. It's interesting. I'm happy that this case is that Keith and Veronica are like not playing that game anymore and that they can actually work together to solve this thing.
I thought that was going to drag out for even longer, and I'm glad that they kind of stopped. But she has to tell him about the ticket now.
It's the same thing with Dollhouse. We're like getting stuff out in the open so we don't play that game of like, oh, they don't know yet.
Yeah.
But when do you think When do you think she tells him about the bullseye photos?
Oh my God.
That's like a couple episodes later. That's a bomb to drop.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad, I know we're working on this case, but also there's a hitman after me.
That's why Mom left.
That's why Mom left. Oh, okay. It wasn't me.
Yeah. Next episode is titled The Girl Next Door.
I'm going to say this has something to do with... I'm going to say it has something to do with a neighbor. I'm going to be lazy.
I'm going to go specific. I'm going to say this is a new character that's introduced, and she's running a scam. No, she's going to be Duncan's new love interest, and Veronica's going to be jealous. And then we're going to have more contact from Veronica's mom.
You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say it's the black lady neighbor from the pilot that...
Oh, that we thought was going to be somebody, but wasn't.
That basically was a character that screamed to snap her into a flashback or out of a flashback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was out of a flashback. Yeah.
And that was it. Like, we never saw it again. She's back.
Yeah. All right. There we go, everybody. That is a wrap for our episode on Return of the Kane. Thanks so much for listening. Hop on Discord. Let us know what you thought. Am I big? Am I not big? In
relation to the amount of drugs he should take.
Join our Patreon, patreon.com/boyswatchingbuffy, doing Boys Watching Dollhouse. And our movie of the month for March is going to be Jennifer's Body, so be on the lookout for that. Instagram @BoysWatchingBuffy, TikTok @BoysWatchingBuffy, BoysWatchingBuffy@gmail.com. If you want to get a shout out, 5-star rating review by Apple Podcasts, 5-star rating on Spotify. Take a screenshot of it, send it in to us. Amazon wish list. And yeah, stay tuned next time for when we talk about The Girl Next Door.
Son, how do you argue with 8 figures? You can't. It can't be done.
It's Duncan Kane. You find some sucker who's willing to make a bitch out of himself for cash?
Seltzer Kings.
Podcasts.